Hello there, it's the 3rd of May 2020 and here you are with Dan in Essex, UK. So the main purpose of my channel is to show people how to grow their own fruit and vegetables, no matter what size garden, allotment or growing space they do indeed have. So behind me here you may be able to see a space that I've recently cleared and I'm intending to use this as a vegetable growing project. So I'm thinking of a combination of vegetables, maybe some fruit, shrubs, fruit vines, maybe even some trees grown as cordons. But of course this project will develop over time. So I'm going to show you it and hopefully you can get something from this video that if you want you can implement in your own garden. So there we go. Now this is the space here. So you can see what we've got. So we've got about 5 meters or so this way, meter or so that way, and 4 or 5 meters, something like that, to that way. So there we go. So it's a triangular shape and this is a south-east facing wall. So it's quite a nice warm wall and to me it lends itself to a grapevine being put right there and to be allowed to grow over the fence here to make the most of the microclimate. So wouldn't that be lovely? Another option of course is to dedicate this solely to vegetables and maybe put runner beans up canes all around the edges and maybe even canes across and growing them sort of like vines majestically hanging there. Wouldn't that be amazing? So that's another option. And then of course dwarf beans, courgettes, just so many potential options here. So I'm not going to be building raised beds, at least at this stage, but what I am going to be doing is enriching it, and the first thing I will be doing is putting some calcified seaweed down in order to get the beneficial bacteria working in this soil, because to me gardening is a long-term thing. You're in it for the long haul, so you build soil quality over time. And then of course when some is ready, put some nice compost on there to start really getting this rich, good quality soil that will hopefully produce good crops for many years to come. Okay, so here you go. Now this is the compost bin. You may remember when I built it a few weeks ago. If you're interested, you can check that video out and you can see how I built it. It's a very low-tech system, you know, with a fence panel at the back, a separate one screwed to the outside fence panel so it doesn't cause rot. There you go, you can just about see that, and got some pallets joined together here. So I did this today. I simply just put a screw in here and a screw down here to hold this nice and tight, so this way I can now get more and more things in to decompose and to make some really lovely compost. So there we go. Now I'll let you have a look at it. What I've done is moved it all over here. I've turned it. The compost underneath, what you can see, is really starting to work now, nice and warm, and I can now chuck new stuff at the bottom here and just keep turning and turning and turning, and hopefully by the end of the summer this will be really beautiful. I'm going to be putting something over the top, maybe I'm still in the process of thinking what I'm going to do, but just to hold the heat in, get some real nice beautiful heat in here to create some nice compost. So it's about 7 feet wide by maybe 3.5 feet deep. So what's that? 21 square feet of compost. So that should be quite good, shouldn't it? 3 guesses, people. What's coming? 3 guesses. So when people get into gardening and maybe they haven't got much time to dedicate to gardening or much space, what I recommend people to grow are cut and come again vegetables. So a great example of this is spinach and chard. So take a look at this. Now I planted these out a few weeks ago, and now if I wanted to, this is chard here, I could start to eat these. There's really nice delicate leaves here, okay, nice and healthy, okay. And one thing I've found about spinach and chard is things like slugs and snails and birds tend to leave them alone, so that's a great thing. And what you can do is just snip them off. Ideally I'd like them a bit bigger than this really, but you'd snip them off here with scissors, so you can gently pull them, use your nail, and then you can, you know, use this in your cooking. So, you know, boil it up, whatever. You can probably put it in some sort of stir fry or something like that. But spinach and chard are really great things to get into. Very nutritious and delicious. Don't take up a lot of space. Grow relatively quickly, and are just an all-round brilliant thing to grow. Now, another great thing to grow is kale. So look at this. This is kale that you may remember I had a lot of this protected with covers so that the birds didn't get them. But now these will be relatively safe now. They're generally big enough that most of the birds around here won't attack them. But what will be happening in a few months is cabbage white butterfly, which will be perfectly happy to come here, lay eggs all over the leaves, and then they get devoured by caterpillars. So I'll have to be covering these up soon. I've got 3 kale plants, okay? It's not enough for me. I'm hoping to be getting, growing some more. But kale is one of those lovely things, again, cut and come again vegetables, nutritious, delicious, don't take up much space, and keep coming again. Very much worth growing, okay? Okay, so no chat with Dan would be finished without a discussion of fruit. So there we go. You see that there? Look, just on the... There, look. Now, this lovely Jubilee plum tree has set a crop of plums. So they tend to be a little bit behind other fruits, such as pears. But this has got a crop. I'm very happy with it. The tree does need a prune, and I'll be doing that next year. I'm going to give it another year of establishment. It's about 10 to 12 feet tall now, and it's an absolute beautiful powerhouse of a tree. Right, so here I have got some tomato plants, and this is variety moneymaker. Okay, so yeah, most gardeners know about variety moneymaker, lovely traditional variety. And another one here is something sunrise. There we go. So a lovely plant there. And here, this is a Cape gooseberry. Now, this will be very fascinating. This will be going in the polytunnel, okay, and be very interesting. Otherwise known as physalis. You must say that correctly, okay. But there we go. So that looks lovely, doesn't it? Right. So there we go, there's today's video. So basically, what you want to be doing is just working slowly every day now towards something you want to achieve in your garden. Now, don't overwhelm yourself. It's particularly difficult not to do that at this time of year because there's so many things you can think of. You think, I want to get this, I want to get that, get this, get that, grow this, grow that. And before you know it, you've got a huge unruly situation that you will find rather hard to deal with. Of course, this depends on your individual life circumstances, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. So take one step at a time, and planting out will be coming up relatively soon. I intend to be doing some videos on planting out and how to go about doing it, but I'm deliberately holding back, okay? I'm not rushing this year, and I'm going to be waiting until sort of the end of May because I'm working a lot on infrastructure at the moment, thinking, planning and moving ahead. So if you want to learn a little bit about planting, things like that, look at some of my older videos, how I've went about doing it in previous years, and of course check out other people's videos because there's so many great channels on YouTube. So and you can sit down with Monty Don, can't you, Gardener's World, or you can... Is he hosting that at the moment? I don't know, but anyway, you get where I'm coming from, or you can look in books. There's so much information out there. So there we are. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and you can always check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram if indeed you are interested. Have fun and enjoy the remainder of your Sunday.